Hello, 7th grade mathematicians. This is your favorite and only 7th grade math teacher with the last edition of multiplying and dividing rational numbers. Remember, a rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction with integer for numerator and integer for denominator. Just a quick review of what we've done so far. We talked about piles as positive numbers. We talked about wholes as negative numbers, and we multiplied integers, and we came up with our rules for multiplying and dividing integers right there. Same sign equals a positive, different signs equals negatives. And then we talked about how we multiply fractions. You just multiply straight across. Then we talked about how you multiply decimals. You multiply as if there's no decimal, and then you count the decimals and the factors and add it back in. And of course you estimate first. And then we did some dividing of fractions because we like yogurt. Yum, 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 yum. Dividing fractions, you copy the first fraction, the dividend, you change the division sign to multiplication, and you write the reciprocal of the divisor, and then you multiply like normal. Now let's talk about decimal operations, multiplying decimals so much. Excuse me, not multiplying, dividing. Gosh, getting old. Anyway, dividing decimals, I'm just going to give you a straight up division of decimals expression, something that we can simplify. So this is 7 and 8 and 48, and look at that, purple. 48 hundredths divided by 0 and 4 tenths. I could change this to a fraction and do my division fraction-wise and copy times flip, but I'm going to use decimals because it's nice to be able to use decimals. This number here, the first number in a division problem, is called the dividend. Little vocab, dividend. And the second number here, the one that does the dividing, is called the divisor. So we're saying how many 0 and 4 tenths go into 7 and 48 hundredths? How many of these go into that? Well, there's going to be a lot of these in that, right? Because that's not even one whole. So there should be a lot of them. And let's see how we can figure out exactly how many there are. First thing you're going to do, write your divisor as a whole number. Okay? So what I did to write it as a whole number, I moved this decimal point that was here over one place. Right? I moved it over one place. Now it's a whole number. And then my dividend, I moved the decimal point the same amount of places, one spot. Boom. There we go. And now we just get to divide, do a little long division. I'm going to bring my decimal point straight up. My decimal point's going to go there. And then I do some division. How many times does 4 go into 74? Or how many times does 4 go into 7? Let's start with that, in case you don't know 4 into 74. One time, I do multiply. 1 times 4 is 4. I subtract. I bring down. Then I ask myself, how many times does 4 go into 34? Well, 4 times 8. 4 times 8, I think. Let me see. 4 times 8 is 32. So glad I memorized these multiplication tables back in 3rd and 4th grade. And then I bring down the 8. How many times does 4 go into 28? An even 7 times. Beautiful. Notice the decimal point's there. I'm putting the answer, the quotient, right above the place value to keep everything in line. And my solution is 18 and 7 tenths. And that's all it is to dividing decimals. Make the divisor a whole number by moving the decimal point. Move the decimal point the same number of places, and then do your long division process. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the last episode in multiplying and dividing rational numbers. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure you write these notes down in your notebook. These notes must go in your notebook. I want to see them next class. All right, bye-bye.